Good morning. I don't want to take too much of your time because I know my students are anxious to get back to school. So, but this particular team, we already had our state competition back in February. We did not win the state, but they still did well, and this is just great experience for them to be able to come before you people this morning and present their issue. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to let them introduce it, and at the same time, the majority of them will sit at the table. We're going to present this as if we did it at state competition. So without any further ado, we will get started.
On December 13, 1984, the Illinois Leadership Council for Agricultural Education, also known as ILCA, was founded and developed from a grassroots movement within the agricultural industry. Illinois citizens were concerned about the neglect of educating the population in and about agriculture, resulting in a diminishing number of persons being prepared for and having an understanding of this industry. By September 19, 1986, the Illinois General Assembly enacted legislation stating that a comprehensive program for agriculture be created and maintained by the state's public school system and be made available to all school districts as part of their curriculum. Public Act 84-1452 was signed into law, sanctioning the Illinois Committee for Agricultural Education, also known as IK, and an agricultural education line item within the Illinois State Board of Education budget. In 1987, the efforts of ILCA established the first legislated agricultural education line item within the ISBE budget. Currently, in 2011, over the past 23 years, over $34 million have been allocated to enhance agricultural and horticultural education, pre-K through adult. As a result of this line item, high schools with agricultural, horticultural programs have received incentive funding grants to purchase greenhouses, computers, and aquaculture labs, along with other state-of-the-art equipment and curriculum materials. Resources we have used have come from the Illinois Agricultural Horticultural Education Report, personal interviews, and other media resources. Hello, I am Danielle Hill, and I'm here to moderate this meeting today with the Illinois State Board of Education on the Ag Education Line budget. We are now holding public comments. Sir, please step forward and state your name and occupation.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Josiah Cloggengay. I am the superintendent at Hartsburg-Emden School District. Funding for agriculture cuts down on my general funding for my school as a whole. The state of Illinois is behind $70,000 to our school alone. Now, I haven't had to make any major position cuts yet, but who's to say it's not going to happen? A neighboring school that's much larger, but nonetheless was expecting $500,000 from the state that was never received. Thus, they had to make adjustments to cut 9 teachers and make adjustments to extracurricular activities, club sponsors, and so forth. As a total, the state owes $619.1 million to schools in the 2009-2010 school year and $624.8 million to schools in the 2010-2011 school year. This makes a total of over $1.2 billion. Most ag classes are not benefiting the student to help with tests, ACT scores, and into colleges unless pursuing an agriculture career, which is very rare today. There are many other funds I need to cover that could be covered instead of ag education. Thank you.
Sir, please step forward and state your name and occupation.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on such an important issue. My name is Noah Cross. I've been teaching agriculture for the last 30 years. When I first started teaching ag, we did not have this line item. I believe this funding for agricultural education is important to my students because it gives kinesthetic learners the opportunity for the hands-on learning that they need, thanks to new technology such as a greenhouse, welders, lab equipment, a smartboard, and a projector, which has been paid for by this line item. This funding has also helped 2 ag lab sciences, biological and physical science applications in agriculture, to be accepted at major Illinois universities as lab science credits. At my school, students need 2 years of science classes to graduate. Biological science applications in ag qualifies as one of these. This class helps students to find out more about ag and to become interested in ag careers. This funding has been beneficial to me as a teacher because I've been able to access lesson plans online to meet Illinois state standards. Now I can be assured that my lesson plans are cutting-edge instruction to my students. I've seen ag class enrollment more than doubling in the last 5 years, which I believe can be attributed to this new technology. According to a Facilitating Coordination in Agriculture Education report, this enrollment growth is not just local. It is up statewide from 25,000 in 02-03 to 29,000 in 09-10. For some ag programs, this is their only funding. They don't even get the local funding that some core courses get. Without funding from this line item, some schools' ag programs will cease to exist. Thank you.
Ma'am, please step forward and state your name and occupation.
Hi, my name is Mary Rankin, and I am a high school English teacher. Because of teacher cuts, my class sizes have nearly doubled. This is harming our students' education because I do not have the necessary time needed to spend with them. As a teacher of one of the core classes that our students need to graduate, I believe we need to cut down on agriculture education funding. Those classes are not needed for graduation and will not benefit them as well as an English class will. Also, as I chose a new curriculum for my students to benefit their education, I do not have enough money for them to widen their education because I cannot buy the supplementary materials needed. Because of the fact I only get about $150 a year to spend, I have to spend my own money on new materials. If our school cannot supply the materials needed by our students, then how do we expect our students to take school seriously and want to come every day? Additionally, when I want to go to a workshop for my professional development, funding is not available for me to go. Therefore, I believe this money could be better spent funding our core classes, like mine, needed by our students. Thank you.
Ma'am, please step forward and state your name and occupation.
I am Natalie Nowotny, a mother of 3, and the waste of government funding is affecting my children and can easily be affecting yours. My first 2 children have gone through a very beneficial program, early childhood education. However, since government funding, my tax money has been going to ag education instead. Funding for early childhood education has been cut. Now, my 3rd child will not get the benefit of this program as much as he may need it. This is the future of our children here. Giving so much funding to agriculture education is absolutely ridiculous. This money should instead be going to core subjects that children actually need and will use. My kids are going to use math and reading no matter what. So what's the point of wasting funding on an unnecessary program like agriculture education? Thank you.
Please step forward.
This line item has partially funded ag in the classroom, which helps elementary students become more aware of ag and where their food comes from. Ag in the classroom also uses multidisciplinary agriculture integrated curriculum kits, also known as Magic Kits, which include ag mags and other hands-on activities that deal with the core courses of reading, math, science, and social studies, and are linked to Illinois learning standards. In addition, Ag in the Classroom has developed Illinois Standard Achievement Test preparatory materials. Thank you.
Sir, please step forward and state your name and occupation.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Hello, I am Cole Baker, and I work at a local bank as a loan officer for home, commercial, and real estate. I feel that with an ag background, I could connect with the bank customers and help them with their business. I've had the opportunity to work with numerous employees during my career, and I found no matter what their job description was at the bank, those employees that took high school ag classes and were involved in FFA programs were a step ahead of those employees who did not have that background. Their organizational and communication skills were far and beyond superior. Several acquaintances of mine have indicated the same feelings that I've had, that high school ag programs do help students get ready for the real world. Dr. Howard Brown, an agronomist at Gromont, said that students who take the basics of applied agronomy will be at an advantage for these students who are waiting to enter the seed industry, because these students will have some or not even more knowledge about seed and how to treat them. Dr. Jason Emmert, the Assistant Dean at the U of I College of Agriculture, said that high school ag programs are beneficial for the students, for the state, and for the communities. Students could get better jobs just by taking high school ag classes. A local farm business farm management accountant said that by having a supervised agriculture experience taught him responsibilities for finance, record keeping, and production in agriculture. A local college student said that by having a high school soils class has provided a foundation for her geotechnical engineering class. And Natalie Kors, a college professor, said that one of the most beneficial aspects of taking high school ag continues to breed the broad base of awareness and knowledge into the various fields of agriculture that allows her to relate with her students. The careers in the agriculture industry provide endless job opportunities. Major seed companies are looking for people who would like to become an agronomist, seed salesman, or biochemist. There are other jobs out there as well. Livestock producers need a vet or pharmaceutical salesman, and the list goes on and on. A report published by the United States Department of Agriculture said that between 2010 and 2015, 74% of these jobs will be in business or in science. More than enough graduates will likely be available in some occupations, but a shortfall of new graduates with preparation in agriculture, business, and science specialties is forecast in the latter half of the period. Thank you.
Time is up on opening comments. You'll now have 30 seconds for closing comments. Dr. Clockengay?
I must emphasize that ag classes do not help my students with tests and ACT scores. I am pressed to meet state standards every year, and I need money to keep my core subject teachers equipped and, most of all, keep my doors open. How can I, as a district superintendent, put ag classes over core classes? Thank you.
Ms. Rankin?
Day by day, I live penny by penny to make sure my academic program is at its best, so I can offer my students the best available. I also realize agriculture programs are important, but my subject is a core subject that students need to pass all the final exams and to graduate. All in all, I believe this money could be better spent funding our core classes. Thank you.
Ms. Nowotny?
As a parent, I want my children to have the best education possible. Education comes with funding, and if you cut the programs that help kids get started, you will end up hurting them severely later on. Thank you.
Mr. Baker?
As a businessman, I feel that this ag line item has helped students get ready for the real world with leadership and communication skills. And in addition, it'll train these students to come prepared for the potential 54,400 job openings in food, renewable energy, and the environment in the next 5 years. Thank you.
Mr. Cross.
My classes do help students in the core courses. According to a 2009 Facilitating Coordination and Agriculture Education report, 80% of high school ag departments offer courses that qualify for academic credit in science, consumer economics, math, language arts, and social studies. In addition, according to the Illinois Leadership Council for Agricultural Education and Illinois Committee for Agricultural Education joint report, 64% of ag students go on to post-secondary education. I am adamantly in favor of keeping this line item. Thank you.
We've just heard from numerous people about their thoughts on this line item. Dr. Clockengay, a superintendent who's concerned about receiving enough funds to keep his school's curriculum up to date, avoid teacher layoffs, and above all, to keep his doors open. Ms. Rankin, an English teacher who cannot supply enough necessary items for her classroom. Ms. Nowotny, a mother of 3 whose children are pushed aside because of lack of funding for readiness programs. Mr. Baker, a businessman who found job applicants who took ag classes were better prepared for jobs in the ag and non-ag industry. And Mr. Cross, an ag teacher who started with a bare-bones curriculum and now with the ag education line item has state-of-the-art equipment, up-to-date material, and his students are prepared for ag and non-ag jobs. These views represented the different hands reaching out for the same limited educational dollars. We will take their comments and concerns into consideration at our next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, this was their presentation. Just to give you a little background, it had to be between 10 and 15 minutes in length. And afterwards, we're now open for questions.
Does anyone have any questions? I will bring the microphone around you. Just raise your hand.
Okay. The economic impacts, where the line item is eliminated.
At Hartsburg-Emden that have supervised agriculture experience puts around 15,000 back into Hartsburg-Emden communities.
Thank you. Any other questions?
How many students are affected by this awesome thing?
There are students at Hartsburg-Emden that would be affected and about 29,000 students statewide.
Thank you. Any others?
How big is the education line when compared to the whole state board of education
$1 budget. The ag ed item receives $1,947 a year, which is less than 1% of the whole entire budget.
A significant amount of ag students does not have an ag background. Why are ag classes important to them as well as ag students?
An ag class member is also an FFA member. You gain leadership, communication skills, and you also gain in the shop, you gain technical skills, welding, electrical skills, and you learn to speak and work with adults like this activity.
If these agriculture classes were eliminated, where would those students be placed?
If the ag classes were cut, the students would be forced into other core classes that are necessary, or they could take dual credit online classes, or other classes would be introduced into the schools that don't require much money or other materials, and they wouldn't have to hire new teachers. They could use the same teachers at their school that they have already.
With the drop in farmers, how do you get students into ag classes?
Well, the ag program does offer a lot of career opportunities, and it's a very engaging program, and we have a lot to offer. So we hope to promote that within the students to get them into the ag program, to let them see all the opportunities that we offer as an ag program, and with the hands-on, just the overall, just awesome overall experience and just hands-on learning. It really benefits the student.
Thank you for your questions. Do you have anything else, Mrs. Best?